Hello, everybody. How y'all doing on this Sunday afternoon? Hope you're doing well. Um, this reading really got to me a little bit. And you'll see why here in a minute. And also, just to let you all know, in case you're wondering maybe why things are looking a little skewed or whatever, I have a little lady over here that's sleeping and she doesn't want to budge, and I don't want to disturb her either. She's such a good little girl. I don't like to disturb her. So, yeah, I kind of got my camera a little funky and so on and so forth. So, bear with me, or more like bear with her. All right. Let's dive into this reading before I go into it too terribly much. All right. So, anywho, first deck, the Spirit Animal Oracle, as always, for to find out what sort of spirit animals we have around us. First card pulled from the bottom of the deck, the number 40 card, Mouse Spirit, tend to the small things. All right, from the top of the deck, the number 5 card, Bat Spirit, rebirth is assured. And last card, also from the top of the deck, the number 62 card, the 6-2, the Turtle Spirit, slow and steady wins the race. Okay, and this spread added up to 8, so all about prosperity. Okay, second deck that I used, I was called today to use the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. Okay. And the spread that I usually use is a 5-card spread. Okay, I know you see 6 cards here. I'll explain here in a minute. It's typically a 5-card spread. The middle card is the present. Then we have the near past, near future, distant past, and distant future. Okay, and this card over here I'll explain in a minute. All right. So first card that I pulled, bottom of the deck, okay, was the number 8 card with the red border, all about the physical environment, positive movement forward. Okay, this card relates to the 8 of Pentacles in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. Okay, so basically, right now we're all masters and so forth, and because of it, we're able to take everything that we're learning or have learned, and we can start moving forward. Okay, so near past is the Ace of Pentacles, basically the ace of the red border, or the physical prosperity begins. So in the near past, we've had some prosperity. Okay. In the near future is, and I'm going to explain all of this here in a minute. Okay. In the near future, the number 18 card, it's from the Major Arcana relation to the moon card in the traditional deck. And this one, it's shadow. Okay, all about our intuition and so forth, and also looking at our shadow sides. In the near past, or excuse me, the distant past, is the number 21 card, the universe. This is basically the world card. And then in the distant future, the number 4 card, this is basically the green border. This is basically the 4 of Cups, discontent and boredom. Okay. And the extra card that was wound up being pulled, and I'll explain it here in a minute, was basically from the Major Arcana, and it was from the top of the deck. The other cards pulled from the top of the deck as well, except for the middle card, which was the bottom. In case I forgot to mention it, this is the number 7 card, basically the Chariot, and this one is Triumph. Okay, now let's get into this. Numerologically speaking, before I pulled this card, the spread added up to, if I believe, it was 7. Yes. So the reading before I pulled this card was 6. Okay. Afterwards, this spread with this card, pulling this one, it added up to 5. So the whole spread adds up to 4. So whatever resonates with you, especially after I explain everything, is what what you go with. Okay, so you're going to have to dig into your intuition, basically being the masters here. Okay, we've been doing our all of our work with learning how to tap into our intuition, develop it, and so on and so forth. Now's the time to really start tapping into it, and whatever resonates with you with this reading, go with it. Okay, with me it's the second, because of things that I'm going through. Okay, so right in the distant past, we were one with the universe. Okay, everything is great. We're learning, we're learning how to basically be masters and so forth, and we've had some prosperity because of it. Okay, but now there's going to be a shift. One of the big constants in the universe and in our lives is change. Okay, there is always we're always living in a constant state of flux, but now it's time to really start. Things are really going to be changing. If you hadn't noticed yesterday, Saturn went into retrograde, and it's definitely started creating a bunch of chaos. Okay, and of course we've been in Pluto retrograde, and we're coming up on Neptune retrograde. So we're really going to be looking at our shadow selves. We're really going to be having to be looking at our feelings, our intuition, and so forth. And we're really going to be having to be facing some fears. Okay, now's the time to look at those really, really dark fears, doing that inner work and so forth, and really be looking at tapping into our intuition to really be developing that and everything. Okay, and it's going to probably cause some frustrations. Okay, and this card here with the discontent and boredom, that's the one that was really sticking out at me, and like, why in the world, especially if we're going to be facing all this, why in the world are we going to be looking at discontent and boredom? Chaos is usually not discontent. It may be discontent, but definitely not boredom. I don't know about you all, but anytime I'm going through chaos, it's just all sorts of, oh my gosh. But in this circumstance, for whatever reason, this card was pulled. So, and I kept sitting on it and sitting on it and sitting on it. And finally, I just had this feeling, pull the next card from the top of the deck. And that's when I pulled this card, the Triumph card. So then I started understanding why I was having so many issues, basically, with these two cards. Okay? We're going to be faced with something that we're not going to like. Basically is what it's going to be boiling down to. But in the end, by going and tending to all those small things that we're being faced with right now, okay, doing everything slow and steady, we're going to have triumph, and a rebirth is going to be assured. And what's going to wind up happening? Number 4, all about the stability. Okay, unless you aren't going with this, basically everything I talked about, being discontent and bored maybe with your home life and so forth, that number 6 card, okay, basically unhappy home life and everything. Maybe it's time for changes, or maybe that's what it boils down to. Maybe you are discontent with things that are happening, maybe with your job, maybe with your life, maybe with your body, maybe with your actual physical home, maybe where the city you're living in, or what have you. Maybe it's time for a change. Something to consider. Maybe you're just been living someplace a little bit too long, or what have you. Or maybe you just moved there and already you don't like it. Maybe it's time to move on. Okay? Or maybe change jobs. Maybe you like where you live. Maybe it's time to just change jobs. Maybe maybe you just got into a career field and you're finding out, you know what, it's not really for me. I went through that with my first degree. I have my first degree is, I love sociology, I love criminal justice. I absolutely think it's fascinating, the dark side of humanity and so forth. I find that to be very fascinating and everything, but doing actual law enforcement, not for me. Instead, I decided to be a graphic designer. Why not? Triumph! All right, so if you like this video, please like it. If you like the content coming out of this channel, please subscribe and hit those notification buttons, and definitely share it with everybody. Okay? I love you all. Talk to y'all tomorrow.